My next question on boundaries. Here we go. It says over here, while one requires oxygen and one does blank, and anaerobic respiration are both cellular respiration dash, that is, comma, they are processes by which cells break down glucose to use as energy. We don't need to comprehend the entire thing. That is the most important thing in these questions, how to move fast. So we see over here that this particular, while one does not require oxygen, that's here, then there is a fanboy or a conjunction, and one does, and this. So this particular one is an dependent clause, because it's a dependent clause. That is the most important thing to understand. This is a dependent clause, and this one, and there is another thing over here, and anaerobic respirations are both forms of cellular respiration. This second part that follows after an is an independent clause. It's an independent clause. Do you understand what I'm saying? So this, what does it mean basically? It means that the second part is actually dependent. And so here requires oxygen 1 and anaerobic this respiration are both forms of cellular respiration. So what is happening here in the first option, if you see not aerobic, let's see if we put this option, and one does not aerobic and anaerobic. So this becomes a continuation of a sentence, or it becomes, if I put this, it's a sentence continuation. So this obviously cannot be an answer, it does not make sense. If you put this as a sentence continuation, see, not aerobic and aerobic, that does not make sense. If I put a full stop after not, if I put a full stop after not, now let's see what happens if I put a full stop. If I put a full stop after not, then this is happening is that we are happening over here, we are starting off with an independent, but this part is a dependent function. So you cannot have a dependent clause which is before this. The first part is a dependent clause, and this dependent cannot be taken into account, because while with this particular while, it is not an independent clause. So this will not happen. So let's look at this. And this one says, while one requires oxygen and one does not, there's a comma splice after that, and then it says aerobic and anaerobic. Now look at this, see, aerobic and anaerobic respiration are both. So therefore, this is a beautiful example of a dependent clause which is on my left hand thing, which is got that while function which is a dependable clause plus the independent clause. Pure mathematics in this. This is the grammatical mathematics that we talk about. The dependent clause which is with while and the independent clause, that is aerobic and anaerobic respiration are both. So this is perfect. Not semicolon cannot be, because this is not, if this part, the first part is an independent clause, then only if this was independent, then only we could have put the semicolon. But since the while part of it is a dependent one, therefore it is not possible to have this. So my dear friends, a very complicated question for you, and you got the answer for this. The answer for this is option number C. The highlights of this question are that how we were able to understand that where to use the full stop, which in SAT we call the period, P-E-R-I-O-D, the period or the full stop that is there, and the dependent clause and the independent clause marked by the verbs, and an end to a difficult question for that. Please wait for my next question.